in our culture, especially music. I mean, we have had artists, I remember Zubaida Agha, a painter who started modern art in the movement of modern art in Pakistan in the 50s and 60s. And from there we have progressed. Of course, everybody knows Sadiqain, but how many people know of Zubaida Agha? And we've had women artists since then. In music, some of our most famous musicians and singers have been women. And I must give credit, and I have to say it today, Coke Studio this time in their season 14 has celebrated women projecting all types of music, from the classical, from the traditional to rap music. And they have brought forth women who normally would not have been given a platform. So I want to celebrate and I want to commend Coke Studio for their projection of women in this season. And it's an amazing, it's wonderful to see the new, especially the rap that women are doing in Pakistan. From the Baloch woman to the Julian Bajis, you see the rap women taking the forefront in rap music. So music is another field, and salam to our women musicians, our women artists. So what I'm saying is, women are everywhere, moving forward in Pakistan. We have fighter pilots who are women. We have women in the health sector and teaching. Of course, that's been a traditional place for women. And I want to mention education, because education has now become a big issue, not just in Pakistan, but internationally. Education of girls and women in schools and universities. There was a lot of hue and cry, and of course, including Pakistan, we have all raised our voices after the Americans fled in haste and the Taliban came in Afghanistan. We all want girls' education to be opened and girls and women in universities to be educated. But we forget women are discriminated against in the field of education in the Western world also. We have some countries where if a girl wears a scarf on her head, she can't go to school. If a woman wears a scarf on her head, she is denied the right to work. So let's not discriminate where we are going to implement equality and where we are not going to implement equality. Look at what's happening in India, where university students, if they're Muslim and they're wearing a scarf on their heads, are now being denied education. They're being, violence is used against them. Why do we not hear voices of that coming from those who talk about human rights? Why is there a silence on what India is doing in Kashmir, where rape has been used as a weapon of war? And I point to two incidents, Pashpora and Kunan, two villages in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, where the Indian security forces came. They put the men aside and did gang rape of the women. The cases are there in the Indian courts also for decades, but nobody talks about that. So my point is, when we talk about rights, rights cannot be applied discriminately. Human rights have to be applied across the board and same standards used everywhere. If we object to women being denied education in Afghanistan, then we must object to women being denied education in Europe as well because of the clothes they wear or the head covering that they have. So human rights is indivisible. That's the message that I want to give. And I also want to state categorically, even in Pakistan, a big hue and cry was made about women marching, or the Aurat March on the 8th. Let every woman march. It is a day, puri dunya mein ye manaya jata hai. बैनुल अक़वामी दिन है ख़वातीन का. अगर कोई मार्च करना चाहता है, और बिल्कुल करना चाहिए, in defense of the hijab, we should. So let there be a hijab march, let there be an Aurat march, let every woman march as she sees fit. Why should any woman be denied the right to march? Are we denying the right to march of our opposition that is marching in? Are we denying the right of religious parties to march? औरतों पे ही होता है, औरतों के मार्च पे आवाज उठाई जाती है, उनके खिलाफ क्यों? The time has come, even in this country, खुदा के वास्ते औरतों की आवाज को दबाए मत। औरत आपके बच्चों की तरबियत करती है, औरत आपका घर सही रखती है, और फिर जब जुल्म और तशद्दुद होता है वो भी औरत पे होता है। This is not acceptable. Let's be very clear. और मैं ये भी बताती जाऊं, I did have a prepared speech, but I've decided to discard that speech because already Ambassador Andrula has stated all the progress we have made, and I will end with the progress, of course, our ministry has made in difficult circumstances. But I think ये वक्त आ गया है कि हम औरत को औरत की हैसियत से देखें। ये ना कहें कि जी किसी की माँ है, किसी की बेटी है, किसी की बहन है, irrelevant. औरत औरत है पहले, and this is how you must approach women. ये कहना कि माँ है, बेटी है, बहन है, जुल्म ना करें, सही है चले, लेकिन औरत है और औरत पे क्यों आप जुल्म करते हैं? And women also should assert their right as women first, later on as mothers and sisters and wives or whatever, but first as women. We are women first and foremost. The other categories come later. So I think that it's time we change our thinking about women. I also want to, of course, I know that the theme today was for Women, International Women's Day this time round, is gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. And we know that the COVID-19 pandemic made women more vulnerable than anybody else. And our ministry not only presented a report on how we can tackle the vulnerabilities of women, especially during the pandemic.
वफाकी वज़ीर बराए इंसानी हकूक़ शेरी मज़ारी आलमी यौम ख़वातीन के हवाले से सेमिनार से खिताब कर रही हैं। उन्होंने कहा